So I just finished watching some tech news videos, and I just want to summarize some things real quick. I attempted to make this video and it was over 20 minutes long and I wasn't even finished. So let's see if I can get all this done in 10 minutes. iPhone 16 leaks. All right, they're going to now go back to a vertical stacking of the cameras. I suppose, yes, that's so that way we can now shoot spatial video even with the regular phones. My only question, and I hate that nobody ever else, at least I haven't seen anybody else question, is, okay, why can't all of the current Pro devices do it? Because they have vertically stacked cameras. I don't remember which camera is which, but at least the orientation for two of the cameras is where it's supposed to be. Do you need the ultra wide and the regular camera? Can it be the telephone? I don't know, but the orientation is what it is. However, if you go back to the iPhone 12, and I want to say 11 and then 10 series, all of them, they all had vertically stacked cameras. My opinion, my thought process, is that the only reason when you go from the 12 to the 13, they changed the orientation to that diagonal camera for the regular phones is because they knew that they were going to release the Vision Pro, and they were like, all right, we can't have vertically stacked cameras and then not give them this particular feature. So we're going to make a change. We're going to make these cameras diagonal. I might go back and when I'm editing this, put something on the screen, but I don't think there were really many differences between the 12 and the 13 aside from the cameras now being diagonal. Of course, there's a different chip on the inside, and there might be, like a slightly bigger battery. I don't know, but I want to say that was the main difference. And I think they did that solely because they didn't want to have to backport this feature, and they didn't want people questioning why they didn't backport this feature in terms of shooting spatial video. So that's that. The mute switch is going to be gone, and there's going to be a capture button. The mute switch supposedly is going to be replaced with an action button, and the capture button is going to allow you to quickly open your camera and I guess take pictures once the camera app is actually open. As far as I'm concerned, the mute switch should have been gone a long time ago. I'm also not really a huge fan of the action button because I don't think it's, from what I've seen, again, I only played around with the 15 Pro in Best Buy, so maybe there's more you can do with it, but it seems like there are a certain number of things Apple wants you to be able to do with it. But after listening to the Vergecast, I know Nilay said that he mapped the action button to open ChatGPT, so maybe you can just assign it to any app, cool. But my biggest issue, and when I was playing around with the iPhone 15 Pro in the store, it showed that, okay, because the mute switch is now gone. Okay. So if the mute switch is gone and you choose to use the action button for something that isn't mute your device, yes, you can go into Control Center, swipe down, and you can change from mute to non-mute or enable silent mode or whatever it's called. Yeah, silent mode, I believe is what it's called. But what I don't like, and I've always disliked this, is that if I want to now turn vibration off, in addition to turning the ringer off, I have to go into settings to do that. And that is stupid. Yes, people would say, well, just turn on Do Not Disturb. I don't want Do Not Disturb because maybe I do want to be alerted that I'm receiving a message or a call. I just don't, because I'm probably looking at the screen. Or maybe I don't want to be alerted because maybe I'm sleeping, but I still don't want the phone to be in Do Not Disturb. So it's not something that I feel like requires much justification. Also, the capture button is going to be there. Quick way to open the camera, take pictures. I've made videos about it in the past. Sony has done this for a long time. Sometimes I really disagree with what Marques Brownlee says. He kept saying that the dedicated camera button on the Sony is something enthusiast-like. Even back then, years ago, I'm like, no, when I'm using my little Sony that came out back in 2016, I never thought, oh, I'm an enthusiast. It's more of a, this is a nice feature to have. I'm happy that I can easily take the phone out of my pocket, press and hold this button that will immediately open the camera, and I can use that same button to now take a picture. Nothing enthusiast about it, but of course now that the iPhone's going to get it, the whole mindset of it being an enthusiast feature, I know is just going to go completely away. So that's that. Looks like the phones are going to get bigger, at least for the Pros. 6.2 inches for the regular, 6.8 inches for the Pro. Massive screens, man. Like, this Galaxy is a 6.2 inch screen. I mean, it's fine, but I just hate that these things have to keep getting bigger. And as a result of that, the Zenfone 11 Ultra exists. I don't know if there's going to be a regular Zenfone 11, so I'll make a video about that a little bit later. But it's a sad day that phones continue to get bigger. I do like that the Pixel has gotten smaller. And it seems like the big three, even though I know Google doesn't sell a lot of phones, have all now collided at 6.2 inches. So the Pixel went down from 6.3 to 6.2, and both the iPhone, it looks like, and the Galaxy S series have gone from 6.1 up to 6.2. So great on them. Looks like they're going to be, of course, the phone's going to get better screens. That's not, a surprise. And there's question as to whether or not the naming, what is the naming structure of the chipset going to be? Is it going to be an all A18 series, so A18 Pro and regular A18s? Is it going to be an A18 Pro and then an A17? We'll see. Don't really know. I really think that they should all be on the same level. My question for Apple is, in 5 or 6 years, when the iPhone 14 Pro is no longer supported, are they going to continue supporting the regular iPhone 15? Because right now, and in the future still, they both have that same chipset. So the A16. How can you tell me that I would have to ask, like, okay, if you decide to cut support for the iPhone 14 Pro and then continue support for the iPhone regular 15, if I had a 14 Pro, I'd ask, well, if you're still supporting the phone that has the exact same chipset, why can't you continue supporting mine? But then as an iPhone 15 owner, if they decided to cut support the same year they cut support for the 14 Pro, then I'd say, well, why am I getting shorted a year of support? Because you guys decided to put last year's chipset in it. We'll find out. We'll find out. So, and when I think about like OnePlus, they're kind of doing that with the 12R. I think is in line with the same number of years of support with the 11 that came out the year prior. So we'll find out. My other question is, okay, what's going to happen with the speed of the USB-C port? Most people don't care. But I was just talking to my friend. He and his wife are really into photography. They have their YouTube channel, which is way bigger than mine. And yeah, he converted to iPhone and he records a lot of video on the iPhone. And I think early on, he was recording the video and was like, all right, I want to get these videos off of this camera. And he just said he had to stop because the speeds were just so bad. And yeah, I know, transferring at USB 2 speeds, horrendous. So he decided to upload stuff to a cloud, which one, I don't know. But that shouldn't be the alternative. That shouldn't be the only other seemingly sensible option, even though I still don't feel like that's really that good of an option. Because, as he pointed out, it depends on your internet connection. How fast are your upload speeds? And most of us don't really have that great of an upload speed. So if you're getting 10 megabits up, that's nowhere near the 10 gigabits that you might get transferring at USB 3 speeds. So huge differences. It's unfortunate that Apple thinks USB 3 is a pro level feature. Of course, there's going to be better cameras, better battery life. My question really is, and this is some gadget guy always points out that, and I've seen it too, because I had a OnePlus device that, yeah, Apple and even Samsung and Google, they'll say, oh, slightly faster charging speeds or, fast charging or, whatever you want to call it. Man, excuse me, those OnePlus devices, when you need a quickly charge a device and you have, their proprietary stuff, but those things charge fast. And yeah, to the point now where their wireless charging on, I want to say their wireless charging speeds are faster than many wired charging speeds. So yeah, I'm sure Apple might slightly increase charging speeds, but nowhere near what is truly capable. And yeah, I'm sure people will be perfectly fine with it. Now, my questions are not so much about AI. Yes, it's coming. People are, what is Apple going to do with it? I don't really care. I need to care more, but I honestly just don't care that much. My biggest question is, all right, when exactly is RCS going to be supported on the iPhone? I hate when Android users aren't using it, but then I hate, of course, that the iPhone hasn't implemented it at all. I hate that Apple killed Beeper Mini. So many things when it comes to just your regular messaging experience that this one company is controlling. I mean, they're not controlling people who have Android devices that choose to not turn on RCS. But still, it just needs to happen. I mean, Google was late making it the default thing on Android devices, but now that it has been for a couple of years now, it's time for Apple to get on board. And yes, I made another video about Apple creating another form of encryption that they call like a level 3 something, and it's all on their scale. So what does it really matter? I don't know, but just another way of them segmenting their market. And yeah, if it improves or decreases, I should say, the likelihood of somebody being able to hack the encryption of iMessage when that is, part of the stack, great. Even if quantum computers don't exist yet or aren't commercially available, great. Glad they did it, but they won't give you the basics. And as I talk to people, definitely iPhone owners, they're like, well, if you want iMessage, get an iPhone. I don't really want iMessage, but you, iPhone user, need to realize that, yeah, the majority of people you talk to might be also iPhone owners, but there are some Android owners that that you message, and your experience is degraded as a result of Apple not turning something on. So I don't see how that doesn't bother you, that they're just choosing to not. So you spent all your money on your phone, and they're just saying, we're not going to do it. So why don't you ask your friend to buy an iPhone? And of course, there are people out there who are just never going to do that. So I'm just waiting for RCS to be supported. That's really what I care about. Pocket Nail Daily is what I was watching before I made this video. And, he talks about the price of the phone might go up as a result of inflation. I think Apple ate some of the cost for this year or last year's iPhone 15 series. And I hate when people talk about inflation as if it's some magical thing. Somebody in the supply chain decided to raise prices. That's all that it is. The reason that they decided to raise prices, the shortages of something, there are a bunch of possibilities going into that decision. But at the end of the day, somebody said, I'm either not making enough money, I'm potentially going to lose some money, or I just want to make more money. And that's it. And it potentially impacts everything down that supply chain. So because we abstract it in some type of way and people don't really want to just realize that, wait a minute, I'm now spending more money because you want to make more money? No. Now, for certain things, you need those items. So yeah, you're going to spend the money, but there are a lot of things where you're like, I don't really need that, so I'm just not going to buy it. And yeah, we collectively could do that. And I know that's not what the point of this video is, but I figured I'd just add it in there at the end. Okay, so iPhone 16 leaks, rumors, whatever. We'll see what happens in a couple of months.